Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a real clash of the titans in the cloud data world. Amazon Redshift versus Azure Synapse Analytics. We're going to break down what makes them tick, see how they stack up against each other, and really figure out the unique strengths each one brings to the table.
All right, so let's get right into it. This is a choice that, a ton of data engineers, analysts, and tech leaders are wrestling with right now. And it's so much more than just picking a piece of software. It's a huge decision that pretty much sets the foundation for your company's entire data strategy for years to come.
You see, the days of racking and stacking servers in your own data center are, well, they're fading fast. The whole game has shifted to the cloud. We're talking about these incredibly scalable, managed platforms that can chew through petabytes of data without all the old-school infrastructure headaches. And believe me, in this high-stakes game, Amazon and Microsoft are the two names you hear over and over again.
So, let's meet our contenders. What's fascinating here is that while they both tackle data warehousing, they really come at it from two completely different philosophies.
First up, we've got Amazon Redshift. Now, this one's been around since 2012, so it's a real veteran and a cornerstone of the whole AWS ecosystem. It's what you'd call a purpose-built, high-performance data warehouse. The secret sauce here is its MPP architecture. That's massively parallel processing. Just think of it like this. Instead of one librarian looking for a book, you have 100 of them searching at the exact same time. It's all about running really complex queries on huge amounts of structured data and doing it incredibly fast.
And in the other corner, you have Azure Synapse. Microsoft's play here is totally different. They're going for a unified, all-in-one approach. The whole idea is to bring enterprise data warehousing, big data stuff with tools like Apache Spark, and all your data integration into one single platform. So you're not juggling a bunch of separate, disconnected services. It's the whole shebang in one place.
Okay, so how do these things actually work? Let's pop the hood and look at their core architecture, because this is where those different philosophies we talked about really start to show. And this table really lays it all out. You can see Redshift sticks to a more traditional, cluster-based model. You've got a leader node that kind of acts as the quarterback, figuring out the plan for a query, and then a bunch of compute nodes that do the actual heavy lifting. Synapse, though, is all about that unified workspace. It gives you a whole menu of compute options. You can have dedicated pools for when you need predictable performance, go serverless for those one-off queries, or even spin up Spark pools for your big data jobs. It's all about choice.
Now, let's talk about scaling, because this is a huge deal. With Redshift, you've got a couple of cool tricks. You can do what's called an elastic resize, basically adding or removing nodes to your cluster as you need. Or it can automatically add temporary capacity if you get a sudden spike in queries. Synapse, again, gives you more knobs to turn. You scale your compute, which they measure in these things called DWUs, or data warehouse units, completely separately from your storage. And this is the real game changer. You can literally pause your compute. Just turn it off. That means you stop paying for it when you're not using it, which is a massive deal for cost savings.
And of course, that flexibility flows right into how you pay for these things. With Redshift, it's pretty straightforward, right? You pick your cluster size, you know what you're paying per hour, it's predictable. Synapse is a different story. It's much more variable. You could be paying per DWU hour for your dedicated resources, or if you're using serverless, you're paying based on how much data each query chews through. So your final bill really depends on how you use it.
But here's a really important point for Redshift. If your workload is consistent, the same kind of heavy lifting day in, day out, you can get some serious savings. They have these things called reserved instances. Basically, you commit to using it for 1 or 3 years, and in exchange, AWS can slash your compute costs by up to a whopping 75%. That's huge.
All right, but let's be real, a platform like this isn't an island. It's all about the ecosystem it lives in. This is where we get into this really cool concept called data gravity. Think about it. Data is heavy. It's hard to move. So wherever your big pile of data lives, other tools and services just naturally get pulled in toward it, like planets around a sun.
I love this quote because it just nails it. The best choice really depends on your company's own gravity. Are you already deep into the AWS world, or is your company built on Microsoft tools? That existing commitment, that gravitational pull, often makes the decision for you.
So, if you live and breathe AWS, Redshift feels right at home. It just plugs in seamlessly. Data flows in from S3 like it's nothing. You can use AWS Glue to handle all your data prep, and you can hook it straight into Amazon SageMaker for machine learning. Everything just works together. It's a really mature, tightly knit ecosystem.
And on the flip side, if your company runs on Microsoft, Synapse offers some amazing integrations. The link to Power BI is probably the biggest one. It's incredibly tight, allowing for live queries and dashboards that feel super responsive. Plus, it hooks right into Azure Active Directory for all your security and permissions, which is a huge win for big companies. It just feels like a natural extension of the whole Azure world.
Okay, enough of the abstract stuff. Let's get really practical. It's not about which one has more features on a checklist. It's about what job you actually need to do. So let's look at a few real-world scenarios.
So imagine you're a big retail company. You've got just mountains of structured sales data coming in every day. You need to run reports, manage inventory. It's a constant, heavy, and predictable workload. This is a perfect sweet spot for Redshift. Its MPP architecture is just built for this kind of high-performance, structured data crunching.
Now let's switch gears. Think about a manufacturer that wants to use machine learning to predict when their equipment is going to break down. They're dealing with all sorts of data. You've got structured logs from the machines, but also messy, unstructured data from sensors. For this kind of mixed data, ML-focused job, Synapse is a fantastic choice. Its flexibility to handle different data types and its built-in ML tools all in one spot is a huge plus.
So if we zoom out a bit, you can see a pattern. Redshift absolutely nails the classic business intelligence workload. We're talking nightly data loads, scheduled reports, the dashboards everyone looks at every morning. If your usage is consistent and heavy, Redshift's entire design, from its architecture to its pricing, is optimized for you.
Synapse, on the other hand, really shines where things are less predictable. Maybe you're a seasonal business with huge peaks and quiet valleys. Or maybe you have analysts who need to run random exploratory queries out of the blue. That data scientist who needs a super powerful Spark engine for 3 hours to train a model, they can spin it up, do their work, and shut it down, paying only for those 3 hours. That agility is what makes Synapse so powerful for these variable and mixed workloads.
So we've looked at architecture, ecosystems, and workloads. What does this all boil down to? What's the core trade-off you're actually making here?
It really comes down to a simple set of questions. Are you already living in the AWS world dealing with predictable, heavy workloads on mostly structured data? Then Redshift is probably your answer. It's that high-performance, specialized tool. But if you're a Microsoft shop with spiky, variable demands, and you need to juggle all sorts of data types in one place, well, that's the sweet spot for Synapse and its all-in-one flexible approach. And you know, this whole decision between Redshift and Synapse really points to a much bigger, more fundamental question about the future of data. Are you a believer in building your data stack with best-of-breed, specialized tools for each job? Or do you think the future lies in these powerful, unified platforms that try to do it all? The answer to that question for your organization is probably the best guide to making the right choice.